Hello, we're just doing a sound check to make sure that the sound is working okay. In this video, we're going to be looking at uploading video and pictures to Google Classroom using our iPad or our smartphones. So first thing, you must have the Google Classroom.
Let me get you a pad.
Okay, we're just testing the sound to make sure everything's working okay. Some app downloaded from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. And then next, you just take your video or your pictures. And so we're just going to go to our photos. Good morning. This is Rosie Castle, and I'm here with Larissa Uceda, and we'll be starting in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we'd like to welcome you today to the Google Classroom Intermediate webinar. And my name is Rosie Castle.
And my name is Larissa Uceda.
And we would just like to say thanks for coming this morning and joining us. And if you could go ahead and make sure that you have opened up your chat window, which is the discussion board Q&A, and that was the link that was on top of the webinar. And make sure, obviously, that you have clicked the play button to join the webinar. And in the discussion board, the Q&A, if you can just, in the title box, type hello and the school that you work at. And if you happen to be having any problems with the Q&A discussion board, you can text Larissa at 831-6068 or email Larissa Uceda.
I'm here waiting on, I'm on the discussion board and any support, tech support. So if you could just sign in, and then once the discussion board gets going, you'll have to refresh. Just click on the board and click F5 to refresh to keep seeing. We have a light crowd today, so it won't be crazy busy on the discussion board, which is totally fine.
It's kind of nice to get our morning going.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can just sign in at the discussion board and then we'll get going. Okay, it looks like we've had a few more people join us. And so welcome to the webinar. This is the Google Classroom Intermediate webinar. And so we hope that you've been able to open up your discussion Q&A window, which should look like the window that's on your screen. And if you can just sign in the title box with the school that you work at. And if you're having any problems with this window, you can text Larissa at 831-6068, or you can email Larissa Uceda. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
We have a chock full agenda.
Yes, we do.
And it's all good.
We're really excited to share all these things that are going on with Google Classroom today. Some things that are new in Google Classroom. Usually when we get ready to do these webinars, there's something new that's happening. And yesterday we jumped into Google Classroom just to check if there was anything new as of yesterday. These things came out just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And we were really excited to see them. And one of the things was that they added the feature where you could work with more than one teacher in Google Classroom. And this feature is in the About section. When you go to About, you can invite a teacher to work with you in the class. That teacher will have to accept your invitation. Another feature that they've added is where you can prepare ahead of time your announcements and your assignments, and they become a draft. So no longer do you have to add them to your stream or add them to your class immediately. You can prepare those ahead of time and wait until you want to assign them. That's a wonderful feature that they've added. Some other features that they've recently added is you can upload a photo to the top part of your Google Classroom where the picture is, and you can personalize your classroom. Another feature they've added is in your Students tab, you can sort your students by their first name or their last name. That was a feature that several teachers were asking about. Okay, so something we're going to jump over to now is we're going to take a look in Google Classroom at that About tab, and then we're going to look at some settings and notifications.
Can I jump in, Rosie?
Sure.
So we had this issue last week where the discussion board opens up incorrectly, and it's put incorrectly. It's some issue with the e-learning. So if you're not able, you can try it in a little bit, but otherwise just email or text your responses. That's totally fine. We don't want you to miss any of the webinar because you're worrying about that discussion board opening up or not opening up.
Exactly. Okay, so we're just going to go on in. This is my Google Classroom for the webinar. And I said I was going to look at the About tab. So I'm going to click on the About tab. In the About tab, this is where you would see that I have more than one teacher. So if this was your Google Classroom, you'd have yourself, any teacher that you've invited. Right here is the Invite tab. So you would click it. You would type in the teacher's name that you want to invite. You would select them. This is where you would invite them. Okay. Another feature about the About tab is this is where you could add additional resources for your students. So maybe you want to have links, that's your favorite links for your students in your class. So here is a math link that I want them to visit. Here is another link that I always want to have available for my students. Here's a document that I've added that I always want my students to have available. Here is a folder that I created in my Google Drive that has resources because we're working on a rainforest project. Okay, so the way that I would add those to my About section is I would click right here to add materials. I would give this a title, which I'm going to call it Fractions. It's a math resource. I have that right up here at the top. I'm going to copy this. It's a link, so I'm going to paste that in and add it, and then I'm going to post that.
Okay, so that's one way that you could add a resource to your About section.
Did you go in and show the folder with all the images?
Oh,
I think that's really cool.
okay. So the folder that I create in Google Drive, you can find that address for it, and then when your students open it, it will have all the resources that you put in that folder for the students. So that's a very nice resource. That way you've already gathered your resources for the students. Okay? So there's lots of different resources you could have in the About section for your students. And when you're finished with having those resources there, then you could just click on your triple dots and hit delete. That way it doesn't have to stay there forever, just as you're using it or as you need it. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you while you're in your Google Classroom is your settings and notifications. So we're going to go right over here to our hot dogs, which is our menu. We're going to go down to the very bottom, settings. Here you see there's two different sections. There's your Google account and there's notifications. The change profile picture. Sometimes this is just a gray box because you haven't put in a picture yet. So we're going to click on change profile picture. You see you have different options here. You can take a picture with your web camera, or you can select a photo that's on your computer. Larissa loves it when I do the webcam.
I know, I was just going to say, do the webcam, Rosie.
But actually, I'm going to choose a photo that's on my computer. And I'm going to select this teacher.
Let's see if it looks like you.
She doesn't have her glasses. The other girl has her glasses. So now I've changed my profile picture. In the notifications, normally this box is checked, and you can uncheck it or you can leave it checked. And if you unsubscribe to the email notifications, that's when you uncheck the box. And that means you will not receive emails when someone in your class adds a comment to a post. Okay, so now to get back to your class, you click on the hot dogs, you scroll back to the top, and you click on home, and then I'm going to get back to my class. Okay, how's it going over there, Larissa?
Good. I think we're just here.
Just hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what we did so far, a lot of clicking. What we've done so far is we looked at the About sections where we could have multiple teachers, where we could put different resources, and where we could change our settings and our notifications. In our next section, we're going to be looking at a collaborative group assignment. And we would like you to be thinking about if this is something that do you think this would work in your classroom? And what types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with? And so I'm going to jump back over into my Google Classroom. Okay. So currently, Google Classroom does not have a collaborative or a group assignment as a feature. And what we're showing you here is a workaround to do this collaborative assignment in Google Classroom. So we're going to create assignment, and I'm using that wonderful draft feature that I've already created the assignment as a draft. And the students are going to be doing collaborative writing. They're going to work together on a research paper and write an essay. They're going to work with an assigned partner to write the essay. There's going to be a group leader, which is the first partner, that's going to create the new document. That first partner, that group leader, is going to put both partners' names in the file name. That group leader is then going to share the document with their partner. That second partner must go to their Google Drive to find the file. That means that second partner has to go to their drive and to their shared with me. After they finish all their work, the group leader will be the one that turns in the document in Google Classroom. And then all the other partners, like the second partner, has to make sure that in Google Classroom they mark done for the assignment, and in the comment box writes the name of the person or the group leader that turned in the work in Google Classroom. Okay, so I'm going to assign this to the students. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over and we're going to look and see how this looks for students. Okay, so for students, this is how it looks. It's been assigned to them. Okay, so what Sarah did as a student is she went to create, she went to document, she created a document, she went to the file name, and Sarah is working with Joe, so she put in Joe's name. Then Sarah had to share this with Joe. And so she went in and she's sharing this with Joe's student. And then this way, Sarah and Joe could work and collaborate on this together. And if you're not sure what I mean whenever Joe has to go to his drive, that means Joe would be signed in. Joe would go to his drive to his shared with me, and then he would be able to find the essay. And this would be his essay. Okay? So here's the work that Joe and Sarah worked on. Sarah was the one that created the document. Sarah is the one that has the turn in button because she created it in Google Classroom. So now Sarah is the one who can turn the work in. Sarah's going to say that she worked with Joe, student. We really liked this assignment. Okay. And so now we can go back over to the teacher side and see how it looks like from what it looks like from the teacher side. How's the discussion board going, Larissa?
Good. We have, we have a couple people. One is using the Q&A for the discussion board, not the Q&A for the webinar, but that's totally fine. Stay there, Bill, and so we're getting contact.
Okay, good, good. Just if there's any questions, please ask them, okay? Because this collaborative writing piece can be kind of tricky. So here's the collaborative writing piece. I have 3 students who've completed their work. So I'm going to click on the 3 so I can see their work. I see that Larissa student has turned in their work. Rosie student has turned in some work. And here's Sarah student, okay? So I'm going to click on Sarah student. I see here's Sarah student's work, okay? And I'm going to open up Sarah's work. I see that Sarah and Joe work together because that's the names at the top. I want to give Sarah some feedback, Sarah and Joe some feedback. I see that they have some wonderful facts and details in here. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to click on my comments. And I'm going to say great details. I want to give them some feedback on their writing. And then I also want to give them some feedback when they get their grade back. Great work on your project. Hope to see more of this type of work. And I see that I've given the grade of a 10 out of 10, and I'm going to check this right in front of this to return this. See comments on paper. So what I've showed is that students can collaborate together, and you can also give feedback to the students on their work, and when you're grading it, you can also give them feedback. Okay, now I also want to show you here that when Larissa student and Rosie student worked together, Rosie was the one who turned in the work, and Larissa was the one who said that she worked with Rosie. Okay, so that's what I meant by sometimes Larissa does not turn in the work because she was the second student, but Rosie was the one who turned in the work. So that's just an example of how this works. Now, I can share this more with you if you send me an email or you contact us, and I can give you more explanation on this. Or you can watch this video again to get more information on this. Okay, so that was an example of collaborative writing with giving comments and grading, just trying to go over the whole example of that, since Google Classroom has not added that feature yet, but hopefully they're going to be adding that feature. Okay, so we're going to jump back over to the prompt, and it was about collaborative group assignment. What types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with? And do you think this would work in your classroom? And then in the Q&A, in the chat window, if you could answer these prompts. And if you're having problems with the Q&A window, you can email Larissa or you can text Larissa.
I think we're good. We have a couple people in the discussion board, so just stay where you are, and then one person emailing.
Super. So what types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with, and do you think this would work in your classroom?
We have a small group, so I know one of the teachers is already doing this. So I'll be
great.
curious. Hannah, I saw that her assignment was sharing. So it will be interesting to see your feedback.
We always love to hear what's going on out there. And how you're using this. Okay, well, I'm sure you guys are coming up with different ideas, different ways. So I'm just going to move on and
I'll jump in.
Okay.
If we get some things here. We have a couple things actually. Bill, if you want to just use the email for the discussion board, so just email me. I think it will work better because there's some, I don't want you to worry about the Q&A. And Hannah said that she would like to use it with social studies and science projects. And she's thinking also about, you could put up a math assignment template and have students work in teams to complete it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was thinking maybe even with science, with a science lab, you know, that might be a nice way to get them communicating and collaborating. Always love doing things with science, getting them collaborating together. Okay. And moving on, we wanted to show you some examples of some work that we've got in the online PD component. And some pieces we have you working with the Office products where you're going to be converting Word files to Google Slides, some PowerPoint into Google Slides. This is Word into Google Docs. Some other things we really focused on in this online PD is making sure that whenever you're attaching Google documents that you're either having the students where they can only view the file, where all the students can edit the same file, or where each student gets their own copy of the file, okay? So now I'm going to jump back over to my Google Classroom because I do want to show you some specific examples. And that would be like here in this note catcher example. This note catcher attachment came straight from the ELA module, and we converted it over to a Google Doc, and then we put it into the Google Classroom as an assignment. Here is an example where we had a PDF. We turned this PDF into a Google slide, and then we put it into the Google Classroom as an assignment. That's another thing that you'll be working on here in this PD online. And then here at the bottom is another example of a assignment where we have a PDF. We've attached it, but the students aren't working on the PDF. They're going to be creating a Google Doc and answering the questions on a Google Doc. So those are just some examples of things that you'll be doing.
So we're stretching the assignments.
Yes.
In new ways.
And just showing you different ways that you can use documents in Google Classroom. Okay, so now on to one of the most exciting things that I'm excited to share with you guys. It's such a time saver, okay? It's the Google Classroom app. It's useful for you as the teachers and for the students, okay? And there have been some new updates as of the 1st of May for the teacher side. And right at the very end of April, there were some updates on the student side for the app. So I'm going to be showing you a quick video of how it is for students. And in the online portion, there's some videos for how it is for teachers. So when you're watching this quick video, if you can be thinking about how the Google Classroom app would be helpful to teachers or be helpful for students. I just want to tell you quickly that when the Google Classroom app has recently been updated, teachers are now able to create and edit assignments. Teachers can grade the assignments. They can make comments on the assignments. You can now view your student work. You can now take pictures of things and attach those to the assignments and the announcements. So you can almost do everything on your smartphone, your iPad, that you can do on your computer. The only thing is you have to make sure that you have, if you're working in Google Docs, you have to make sure that you have the Google Doc app downloaded. If you're working in Google Slides, you have to make sure you have the Google Slides app downloaded. If you're working in Google Drive, you have to make sure you have Google Drive downloaded. So I'm just going to jump over and we're going to look at this quick video.
In this video, we're going to be looking at uploading video and pictures to Google Classroom using our iPad or our smartphones. So first thing, you must have the Google Classroom app downloaded from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. And then next, you just take your video or your pictures. And so we're just going to go to our photos. I'm going to click on the share button at the bottom. Click on next. I'm going to slide over. And Google Classroom is one of your choices here. Now, if you haven't chosen Google Classroom before, you would go to More. You would go down until you see Google Classroom. You would click on the toggle and it would turn green. Click Done. Okay. So now that you've chosen the video or the picture you want to select, you click on Google Classroom. Now I'm logged in as a student and I'm going to select the assignment that I want to attach this movie to. I want to attach this to assignment number 5, Rainforest. And I'm going to click Attach. Now that the video or picture has been attached, I'm going to open up my Google Classroom app. I'm going to go to the class, open it. That was assignment number 5. These are the directions. I'm going to go to your work. And down below, I can see that my work is attached, my movie is now attached, and I've written in the private comment. So I'm going to resubmit the work. Now I've gotten the green check mark saying that everything is done.
Okay, so now if you can be thinking, how can that Google Classroom app be a way to help you as the teacher or help your students? Okay, and if you can respond to that in the discussion board or however you happen to be responding
Right, or via email.
Okay. And while you're thinking about that, we know that many of our students might not have access to computers or internet, but we do know many of our students do have nowadays an iPad or smartphone or access to those things. Okay, so we're not saying that they always have to have access to these things, but just periodically. We don't say that they always have to have those things readily available, but just possibly, how could these things help them? Or just how could it possibly help you as a teacher?
So we did get taking a picture of an anchor chart and posting it in or in Google Classroom, which is a cool idea.
It is. It is.
So I like that you could, anything you have in your class, you could post. How about students actually working in their groups? They'd love to see that, but I think the anchor chart would be good.
Anchor chart, student work, capturing student work.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. Students love to see themselves. They also love to capture their work, the models of their work. Yes. Good examples. Okay. So we're just going to jump ahead because the next thing we have to show you, we feel like is a huge request that we've had out there. And so Larissa and I came up with this, and we call it our tip of the day.
And before you jump in, Rosie,
Okay.
we just some feedback on the app. A great way to keep students interested at home, and they could use this for homework assignments to follow up on what we did in class.
Exactly.
So thanks, Bill.
Exactly. So our tip of the day, and all of the steps are not here in front of you, but we're so excited to share this with you because we have had so many teachers asking us, now that I have my regular district email and I have an RCSD one-to-one Gmail account, is there any way I can get them combined? And yes, there is. What you can do is you can forward your Gmail, all the email that you get over there, you can forward it to your regular district account. And all of those steps are in a PDF that is in the resources in the online portion. And so I'm just going to quickly show you some of the steps and stress some of the importance here. And to get you started, you do have to go to your app launcher, to your Gmail. You're going to see this cog. You'll click on the cog and get to your settings. Then you'll see forwarding. You'll click on forwarding, and you'll click on the second bullet. Then you're going to put in some information. You are going to archive it to the Rochester City School District's mail. You're going to add a forwarding address. And then you're going to get several other options here. An important thing here is you want to archive this mail. I would not delete it, okay? And keeping it and just marking it is doing the same thing as just keeping it there. So you really just want to archive it, okay? And again, the PDF on how to do this is going to be in your resources in the online portion of the PD. Okay, this is a great time saver.
So we have another good, some good feedback about the app that I wanted to share. Can I jump in?
Oh, absolutely, because I love hearing things about the app.
This is from Hannah, again, thinking over at School 28. You could give them a scavenger hunt for images around their house about culture that they could upload, or they could do a video interview with a family member for a project. How cool. That she would be able to, that you can grade assignments from wherever you are on your phone, which is exactly.
Exactly. Think about all that paper that you're not shoving back and forth, okay? And the constant, the feedback and the comments that you can really take time to give your kids, because not only are you able to give them feedback with their grades, you're actually able to get into that Google Doc and give those comments right there on their Google Doc. That's what's nice about the app. You can really get in there and see their student work, give those comments right there on your smartphone or on your iPad. As long as you have those apps downloaded, you can do that right there on your device. So yes, these great ideas. Wonderful to hear them. Okay, so just keep these ideas coming, and if you do happen to have any questions or anything, please toss them over there to Larissa, and she will
field them.
That's right. She's doing great. Okay, so it looks like we're doing wonderful on time. And so our ticket out the door is for, oh, we're not ready for the ticket out the door yet. Sorry, guys. I've got just a couple more things to show you. We're going to jump over.
We're getting close though, right?
Very close.
Yeah.
Very close. And I'm going to go back over to the Google Classroom. And we've got 2 more features to show you. I've been mentioning a lot through this webinar how Google Classroom is constantly updating. And the reason why Google Classroom is constantly updating is because teachers like you, teachers like us, are speaking up and letting Google know what we need. And the way we do that, and the way they need you to do that, is when you're in your Google Classroom, down here in this corner, there's a question mark. And if you click on the question mark, you can send Google your feedback. And so one of the things I would like Google to do is I would like them to work on that collaborative feature where students can work together. I've probably put this in here 6 times now, so I'm hoping they're paying attention. And if you continue to click next and submit, it goes to their board and they fill these and they accumulate them, and eventually they start checking out how many other people are submitting the common feedback. Okay, so that's one way that Google listens to what you are submitting. And obviously they did, because they've added the draft feature, they've added the upload a photo feature, they added multiple teachers.
Yeah.
Yes, so things are changing rapidly with Google. Another feature that they've added is, say it's where it's the end of the year, or it's where it's the end of the semester and your class is ended, you would go up to your hot dogs, to your menu, you would go home, and if this is a class that I'm no longer teaching, I could click on my 3 dots and I can archive. Archive means I can't make any changes, my students can't make any changes, but it is saving the class for me. That way I'm not deleting it. And so I would just archive the class. Okay? So those are just some more features that we wanted to show to you and make you aware of. Okay? So if you have any questions or any comments, please post those in the discussion board. And so now for our ticket out the door, if you can share with us one thing you've learned or one question you might have about Google Classroom. Maybe it's a question or something that you still want us to demonstrate for you, or you were still wondering about. One thing you've learned or something you still have a question about. And we will still be here until 9 o'clock. And so if you have a question about something and you still want us to go over that, we can do that. Okay, we hope that you enjoyed the webinar today, And we just want to make sure that you have finished the ticket out the door with one thing that you learned or a question that you might have. And just please make sure that you have submitted this. And again, we just want to say thank you for joining us for the intermediate webinar.
And then we'll see you online because we have the next component of the online class.
Okay. And just remember, if you have any questions as you're going through the online piece, we're always available to help. Okay. And we hope you have a good day. We'll be here until 9 o'clock. So if you do have any questions, just go ahead and post them or email them.
We have some feedback for the ticket out the door about how exciting it is about the app. And I think it is probably the strongest feature of Google Classroom, the way they're updating that app.
It is. It is. That's the most exciting piece for me. Oh, you know what I didn't show? I can show it. The wonderful thing that you showed me.
What's that?
Down here on the question mark,
Mm-hmm.
when you click the question mark, they can see what's new.
Right.
Okay. So those of you that are still here with us, when you click on the question mark and you click what's new, this is where you can always see the new things that are going on. So this is where they showed that the new things that teachers can do in the app. So this is one of the places that we're watching for things that get updated. Okay. So that question mark really helps us. Okay. So that's one place that you could be watching also. Okay. We'll see you later. Have a great day.
Thank you.